All right, we're back for Different Kind of Genius. It's another week. I'm your host, André Kufé. Big shout out to Griffin Burger once again. If you're not eating their food and you live in Ballarat, go eat their food. But we'll go back to business as usual. It's always a special guest, and with me today, it's Libby. I practiced her last name, and I still screwed it up.
Leissner, Libby Leissner.
Libby Leissner. What's going on?
Not much.
Not much? Thank you so much for coming down.
Oh, thank you for having me.
We were going to get you a little while ago, but I think now's the perfect time for it to happen.
Yeah. Because we spoke about it, I think, back when Jaron did an episode. I think that was episode
ages.
3. And what are you on now?
This will be number 30.
30.
And it's Jaron was number 4. So that's, that's
four.
literally been 26 weeks almost since,
Gee.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, it has been a while.
We might as well start things off. I know what you get up to, but Libby, tell the people, what do you do?
Sure. I'm a singer-songwriter, and I've been working on original music this year. I started back, actually I think it was last year. Maybe around Feb, I was with a producer and I had 5 tracks, and I was just wanting to get those recorded. 5 original tracks that I'd written, and I worked with him, I think, on and off throughout 2018, and then we're wrapping it up at the start of this year. And that was really good experience for me. It was the first time I'd brought any original music to anyone, and I didn't really know what to expect or what to ask or what I was really going to get out of it.
Because I remember that time period actually.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I got to the end of our time together and I wasn't as happy as I wanted to be with the outcome. But like I said, I'm still grateful that I had that opportunity because I was able to then learn how to talk about music and what I wanted out of it. And around that same time, I met Jaron, and then he's like, we could do some cool things with this. So I wrote 2 more tracks, and now we have 7. And yeah, we've been working on those this year, redoing them and molding them into a different sound. So
that's your upcoming album, isn't it?
It is, yeah, long EP album, whatever you'll call it. But,
I remember that whole process, and it's interesting because you said you learnt how to better communicate what you want in terms of music.
Yeah.
Did you have to learn that the hard way?
I'd say probably not the hard way, but it was a good lesson. When I first went in with my mum.
What, to the
to the studio?
Yeah.
To meet the guy that I was recording with.
Yeah, Jaron and his phone. It's just like, hasn't even had half a mountain goat and is making all the noise already.
This is my interview. Yeah? You've had yours.
So you went into the studio with your mum?
Yeah, I went into the studio with my mum because I really trust her opinion on things. And when we first went in, it was just to firstly see if I was comfortable to record with him, and I demoed the tracks for him, or we recorded them so he had a rough idea of what we'd be working with. And we spent, I think, 5 hours that day just going over everything, my vision for where I wanted the tracks to go, and the vision wasn't that strong. I was very easily influenced with where it could go. And that's what I mean by it was a good lesson for me, because I didn't have a definite end goal.
Okay.
So I was kind of open to any opinion, and then I think as the time progressed, I was kind of like, oh no, actually, I don't want to do that, or I want it to sound like this. So I learnt throughout the process what I actually wanted to achieve, and it just so happened that the end result with him wasn't it. But if I didn't have that, I wouldn't have known. I wouldn't have had anything to compare it to, because that was the first time, like I said, that I'd gone into a studio to record.
And now it's a massive difference. Obviously I know because Jaron, I know Jaron, but it's the difference in working with Jaron and working with somebody else. it's really going to change the whole direction of your whole project.
Yeah, it has. And yeah, it's changed the sound quite a lot. And Jaron asked me more. He's like, well, why don't we try this or why don't we try that? And I found that wasn't something I was necessarily not offered, but it wasn't that those types of discussions didn't happen with who I was previously working with. And maybe that's just because he didn't want to say it, whereas Jaron was like, yep, let's try this or let's try that. So it was better for me because it was more assertive, and I need that direction when I'm not sure.
I get
so
you.
yeah, it was helpful. Yeah.
And then, is it a big thing being comfortable with the person you're recording with? Like, because when you said that, I was like, if that person wasn't able to tell you the truth about what he thought about the music, it's like, surely you would have a feeling as well.
Yeah, I was a bit complacent because at the end I also looked at myself and I'm like, well, the vocals could have been stronger, or I could have played that better, or melodies and things like that. But I also didn't. I was kind of in a bit of a rut because I didn't know how to get to the next stage. I was like, well, this is what I have. This is not where I want it to be. But I also didn't know. I hadn't taken the time to figure out exactly what it was that wasn't right, so I could fix it. But yeah, about being comfortable, it's a huge thing. It's your voice. I mean, I guess you can get nervous playing an instrument and you might slip on a note or something, but it's harder to hide it in your voice because that's how you communicate. That's where your emotions, it's all right there. I'm lucky in a way because I am comfortable with Jaron with recording, but I can always hear in a take it's harder to tell when you're doing it, but when you listen back, you're like, oh, that sounds strained, or I can tell when I'm tense and trying to sing. It does not sound.
Doesn't sound how you want it to sound.
No, it doesn't sound like me.
Did you learn? Did you know that straight away, or is that something that you had to learn as well?
I've known it. I've known it for a while because even when I did speeches at school or things like that, once again with your voice, I could hear it when I was relaxed or when I wasn't. And I went to Oxygen College for a few years and did some certificates there in music, and part of that course was to record in a band. I think that's when I first noticed it because I was singing, and I heard it then. And then we had the CD made, and my parents heard it, and they were proud of me. But Mum was also like, "Oh, I can hear that's not how you usually sing, or you weren't 100% relaxed." So it's interesting for me to be aware of that. And
it's important too because it's like at the end of the day, it's like it's really what sounds best to you. So it's like if you're critiquing your voice and you're not happy with it, it's like you get back in there and you just do it again. Yeah,
it gets to a point though as well where I just get sick of doing it over and over again. So you need a break. But and it's good to have people around you who are really critical and honest. Like my mum, before Jaron, my mum was the one who would always be like, now don't get defensive, but this.
She'd tell you straight up?
Yeah, Mum's got a really good ear for music, so every time my pitch was off, or she's a big one for articulating your words and things like that when you sing.
Was she a musician herself?
No.
She's just picked that up critiquing you.
Yeah, but she enjoys music and she, like I said, she's got a really good ear for it, but no, she loves to sing, but yeah.
This is like, she's like, I'm going to leave this to my daughter. It's not my job.
Yeah. Well, my dad's good. My dad's, I think I get the singing from my dad, but yeah, my mum, no.
She's just your critique.
Yeah.
Which is just as important. It's like you got to get the talent from someone and you want somebody to be able to critique
Control it, yeah,
it's
absolutely.
It's a perfect balance.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
But I guess that leads me, so how did you get into songwriting? Like how did music start for you?
Yeah. I think the first experience I had with singing was, I think I was in grade 1, yeah, and there was a teacher in primary school called Jan.
Shout outs to Jan.
Shout outs to Jan. There's my shout out.
Yeah, you got to beat Jan's record.
Yeah. And she, not going to happen. And she was putting together, I think the music for our school concert for that year level. Anyway, There was this one song that's on a CD. It's called like Green Pea or something, and there's a lead line in it, and somebody had to be the lead singer, and she said, "Libby, she's got a loud voice. Let's get her in." And we recorded it, I think, at Belmont from my memory. And I remember just thinking, well, number one, I liked being louder than all the other kids. I was like, yeah, this is cool. Everyone can hear my voice. Yeah, I enjoyed it. And then after that, I went to singing lessons, and we used to record our sessions on tape cassettes.
True. Yeah. I'm surprised you know what a tape cassette is.
I know.
Liam gave me a look and he was just like, huh?
It was quite old school for me. But yeah, we recorded those, and I still have them somewhere. And then from there, I just kept singing. And in primary school, I was in the band. And any opportunity there was to sing, like open mics or school assemblies, or festivals or fetes we had on, I started to be known as the one that sings. They're like, oh, she's the singer. And I was like, oh, yeah, cool. I sing. I'm a singer. I liked it. I felt comfortable in being something and having something to do. And then, yeah, it just progressed on to high school. And the songwriting came when I think my dad wanted to get back into playing guitar.
Okay.
Because he used to play guitar. Well, he bought a guitar, I think, when he was 21 and had dreams of being a rock star. But, he had kids and a family and on the grind.
Yeah, so he handballs that dream onto somebody else.
Yeah.
But how old were you when he bought his guitar again?
I was 12, so.
So like just high school sort of age?
Yeah. So he bought just an acoustic guitar and he was playing Smoke on the Water, each night over and over again. I was like, I could do something better than that. Yeah. So I taught myself chords. Just basic chords. And I was like, this sounds cool. I could sing and play guitar. So I just started doing that. And then that's when I started songwriting. But before that, I was always into English. At school, that was my strengths. I always loved writing and still do. So I guess I did like poetry before I actually put it to music. Yeah. Yeah, so it felt natural for me. But I I grew up listening to, Jaron loves this, Taylor Swift.
Yeah. He's had an awful lot to say about that. He's like, you need to expand your... And it's like, you do what you need to do.
Yeah, which I appreciate that. I really do, and I've enjoyed all the new music I've been opened up to. But the first person that really got me into wanting to do that was her.
And what about her made you want to do music?
I think I just looked at her, because when I first started listening to her, I think I was 8. So I just idolized her and I put her on a pedestal. I'm like, oh my God, I want to be that. And I went to her concerts and I met her as well at one of the concerts. True? So it kind of cemented that for me. You met her
when you were 8 years old?
I met her when I was 12.
Okay.
So it was kind of like, I met her and it really strengthened that drive for me to be like, I want to do what she does. And then, just seeing other musicians around, I was like, yeah, this is cool. I like this. It makes me feel good. So it was pretty much as simple as that. I was just like, feels good. I like it. People seem to enjoy when I sing. So
yeah, it ticks all the boxes. So it's like, why would you not do it?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so when did you start taking it serious?
This year.
This year?
Yeah.
So that was after Oxygen as well?
Yeah, after all of that, I kind of put music on hold throughout VCE. I studied graphic design, and that's what I got accepted into uni for. I deferred and I haven't gone. but I focused in on English predominantly and Viscom and studio arts. So it was still artistic. It was a creative outlet, but they offered music at school until I think about year 9, and then we didn't have the numbers, so we had to either go to another school to do it or not do it. I tried it at the other school for a semester and did not like it. I didn't enjoy it. It made me feel like music was a chore.
Interesting.
And so I stopped and just focused on just academics and trying to nail that. And then, I had a gap year. The good
So what year was that?
2018, last year.
True.
Yeah. And in that year, I was working just to fund my music. Did a little bit of traveling. And yeah, then this year I was finishing off, like I said, finishing off the EP with another producer. And I was really determined to get it finished. But then when it was like about 95% finished, I thought if there's only 5% left to go and it sounds like this and I'm not happy with it, then there's something wrong here. It's not quite right. So it was really disappointing and I was quite disheartened by it. But luckily I've got good people around me to support me and be like, keep going, keep doing this. So.
And know that it wasn't like you didn't lose completely from that situation because you had some stuff that you could bring with you.
Yeah, I did. Well, I still, obviously, I own all my music, whatever I do. So the few things that I was a bit unsure about, we've
fixed it.
Yeah, we fixed it.
And then, which is good because it makes you even more excited because you know what's about to come.
Yeah.
Like you've like ironed out all the problems that you had, and now you're like, this is something I'm completely happy with. Now you just have to get it out there and show the people.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Which won't be too long.
No, I don't think so. It's up to me now. Just practicing and fine-tuning things and I think just really being aware of how I want it to sound. Because that was the big thing before. I didn't know. I was just like, I'm going to sing my song and that's it. I cared about it and there was emotion, don't get me wrong. And it was fresh because these songs I had kind of written recently before I took them to a producer. So I found over the course of the time I kind of lost a little bit of that initial fresh raw emotion. Which
is what made it really you? Is that what you were saying when you're trying to find how you sound? That's what you were looking for?
Yeah. I just wanted it to sound honest and have emotion. And now listening to it back with what I know now, it doesn't come across like that. So that's something, it's good, like I said, it's good to have that comparison to be like, that's what I could achieve then, but this is what I want it to sound different now. And it already does. So yeah, I'm excited. Yeah.
As long as you're happy, Libby, it's your music.
Yeah.
So it's like, as long as it ticks all the boxes for you,
absolutely.
Then you're happy as.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say, one thing that I've noticed, especially for you, it wouldn't be a cheap process to get any of your stuff done. Because you need to go into a studio, have someone there to record it, et cetera, et cetera. Like you can't just plug in a USB microphone to a laptop.
I mean, you could.
You can?
But you'll get that sound. So
true.
You could, but yeah.
And did you try that at first as well?
No, I don't. Oh, I've got a microphone and everything, but I've never gone further than the voice memos on my phone of recording or a video just for ideas. Yeah.
You've always done it properly?
Yes. Yeah, I have actually. Yeah.
Which explains why you work so hard as well, because something has to be paying for that.
Yeah, so I've self-funded it. For the first one, I had help from the family a bit, which I was so grateful for because they all knew how much I wanted to achieve that goal. Yeah, and I was a bit younger then too, wasn't working as much. But now I'm working 6 days a week. And I really enjoy my job. I just work in a warehouse, but I like who I work with, and it's given me a sense of confidence again, to be able to work with others, and I train people, so I've got more responsibility there, which I'm trying to have with my outside work life as well. Because I find at work I'm really switched on and I find I can be assertive and help people, and I'm trying to get that into my own life as well, because sometimes I find it a bit difficult to have all those qualities for myself. Yeah.
That's very interesting that you observe that within yourself. And I guess the only way to continue learning that is, as you said, practice through things like work.
Yeah.
And you
then,
find, like, oh, what were you about to say?
Oh, I was just about to say, and then I practiced that at work, but even that in itself, practice being able to take that outside of work and do that for myself, like with music and just life in general. Just because
Well,
I've proved to myself I can do it. I'm capable of doing it, so I've just got to bridge the gap. Yeah,
you just got to show yourself that you can do it all the time.
yeah, absolutely.
Which is good. You'll get there. You'll get
Yeah, yeah.
there.
It's just a process. That's all.
But that's life. Life's one big process. Like you wouldn't have learned. Like you wouldn't have found yourself in the position you're in if, like, what was her name? Jan. Like presented you that opportunity. It's like, and then if she presented you another opportunity, took you straight to a studio, like life wouldn't have been the same.
No.
So
I think I would have. I think that was a really good moment for me as a kid to be like, yeah, this is cool, this is fun. But I still think I would have found my way into music just because it was always something I loved. Like even just because my parents always had music playing when we were kids. It was always something I was exposed to. And I think, I mean, that opportunity was fun, and I can listen back to the recording now and laugh. But I think I still would have.
You still would have found it?
Yeah. I loved, other than arts, I loved sport. But music was always, I looked at musicians as just the best. I was like, they're cool, always admired them. Always,
that's what I want to be.
Yeah, it was always something I was like, I wonder if I could do that. So I think I can safely say I would have, even without Jan.
Even without Jan?
Yeah.
Well, that's good, because then that just like it reconfirms, at least to me anyway, that you're doing what you really want to do.
Yeah.
And it's
absolutely.
like no one's ever going to take that away from you.
No, I think I'd be the only one to take that away from myself. I would be the one to stop myself or get in my own way. It wouldn't be from someone else. I think I'm past the point of letting someone external sidetrack me from it. I mean, sure, I'm sensitive and they could say something that would offend me or I would take to heart, but I'd be able to be like, no, I still want to do this.
But that's credit to you. That says a lot. That's a mental toughness to be able to, and then especially you're creative. So like in every form of your life, people are going to offer their 2 cents on like how you should be doing things.
Yeah.
It says and you're younger as well. So to be able to shrug off what everybody's saying.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'll have a quiet cry about it, but then I'll soldier on.
But then like it's important because that's the release.
Yeah.
It's like if you didn't do that, then you'd just be like, oh, this person has said that, and you will hold on to it for a very long time.
I mean, I still can. I just think I'm at a point where I can let it go a bit easier now. Yeah.
Which is good.
Progress.
And look at what's coming out of it. Like you're making good music, like great music.
Yeah.
From everything I've heard so far, it's like you're really about to shock everybody with what's coming.
I hope so. My family's waiting for it. My grandma asks the most.
Really?
All of her friends want to know.
True.
They want a CD.
That's good though. That's a fan base that like you
It's
wouldn't have had
cute.
access to otherwise. So it's like when the time comes, it's like here you all go.
Yeah. It'll be a really nice feeling to because for years I've said, oh, I'd really like everyone has, family gatherings or whatever. They're like, oh, what do you do? Or how's the music going? And I've always said, oh yeah, I'm writing. Or along each stage, I'm like, oh, I'm writing or I'm recording. Or I've recorded this, hear this, because I have some of it recorded. So I've been able to show close people that I trust, get their opinion on it. But it'll be really, really rewarding to be able to say, this is it. This is what I've been talking about for years, and it's finally here.
And I guess they'd be experiencing the same pressure. Like I'm sure your grandma's been telling people forever, and they're just like they were like, "When can I see it? When can I see it?"
I've told her, I'm like, it'll happen when it happens. I did have a time frame on it at the start, but then I just felt pressured in the end. And then I think with things, I mean, it's good to have a deadline. I like to work towards deadlines, but I think sometimes with really personal things when you're creative, it's better to take the pressure off a bit and just create.
It lets you do you.
Because as soon as I feel stressed or anything, it's just like the valve shuts and there's no more creativity that's going to come through. It's just like, nope. It's kind of like a shutdown thing.
So what do you do when that happens?
I usually get frustrated at myself because I really value that time because it's a time when I feel happiest and relaxed and feel most myself when I'm writing or when I've just created like a new melody or something. So when that stops, I get frustrated. But I try again the next day, and usually something else comes to me. But it bothers me sometimes. Yeah.
And like it forever will. And I guess it's just about learning how to manage that. And I'm sure like you've got your own ways of dealing with that.
Yeah.
And it's obviously working. Otherwise, you would not be where you're at today.
Well, yeah, it's
a work in progress.
Correct. Yeah, it is.
What I was going to say, you work 6 days a week.
Yes.
So how do you find time to manage to do music?
Well, after work, practice, and then weekends usually if I don't have a gig on or if I'm not working on the weekends, I practice or I just sing or I've only really recently just started getting into a routine of doing it, and at the start it was sometimes it really like goes against my personality of pushing myself in that.
Okay.
But I have to. It's what I want to do. So I just have to remind myself of why I'm doing it and what I will be able to achieve afterwards. But practice isn't it's not fun all the time. It's sometimes I just sit there, I'm like, this chord, that chord. But I find now, even today, I was like, hey, I can transition between these much more smoothly and they sound clearer. I'm like, okay, this is cool. Like I can see where this will lead to.
The benefits of practice.
Yeah, and like even little things like the muscles in my hand are getting stronger so I can hold down chords easier and they sound better. It's just little things I'm noticing. I'm like, hey, or even my ear with training with pitch. I'm like, oh, I can hear when I'm flat, or if I'm not, I've got Jaren to help me be like, try this or try that. So yeah, I find the time after work, but I am wanting to find more of a balance because I've been so focused on work. And it's tiring being on all day and doing things for other people. Like I really like it. I really enjoy it and I can push myself in it, but I need to go a bit more 50-50, not 70-30 with my music and with work.
Yeah, like because it just make it so much harder. Because then the last thing you'd want to do coming home from work is like, okay, now I have to dedicate 2 hours to practicing. You'd just be like,
zombie.
It's like, can I do that after I've relaxed for a little bit?
Yeah. It's like I said though, it's and Jaren says to me, it's like now or never. It's like, well, when? If not now, then when am I going to do it? And that only has really hit me lately. I'm like, okay, well, if I don't do it now, it's going to be next year, and I'll be like, oh, I should have started then. It's like when people say I'm going to go on a diet or I'm going to get fit, or it's anything that you practice or to do to improve yourself. If you don't, it's just a matter of just starting it, which is always like the hardest thing for me. It was like in primary school, like the start of a race. I was so like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. As soon as I was running, I was fine. Or job interviews or anything. It's just the thought of doing it.
I see you. It's almost like that unknown. You're just like, what's actually going to happen like after I try this?
Well, I just have to suck it up. I get in my own way. Like I said, if I was to stop music, it would be me. It wouldn't be anyone else. It'd be me getting in my own way. But I'm also stubborn, so I'm not going to let that happen.
Yeah, it's like, don't let that happen. Because then, as you said, it's like you will miss out on what could have been.
Yeah.
And it's like, and then that's what you don't want. And then not only that, there's something powerful about when you start doing things, you learn what to not do. Yeah. Because you just throw yourself in the deep end and you're just like, you think, oh yeah, I'll sing this way, or I'll perform this way. And then after time, you're like, hold on, take out that, improve that. Like hearing your pitch and everything, like you're not going to know about any of that until you started it. Yeah,
well, exactly. And Jaren always says this. He's like, I always, my default is, I can't do it, or no. It's just, I just don't allow myself to do it. And I'm trying to figure out what that is, and if it's the fear of sounding wrong or being wrong or whatever it is. I'm still not 100% sure about what it is, but I feel like I'm making small steps towards getting over that, because it's just it can be debilitating.
100%.
Being like, I know I can physically sing and physically do it, but my mind's like, no. So I just have to, I'm just trying to cut through that each time it presents itself, and it's getting better, I think. Yeah.
And it makes complete sense, because from the sounds of things, like, you envision it a lot. Like when you're stuck in your creative space, you'll envision like what the outcome will be.
Yeah.
So it's like the minute it comes to learn something and you're like, no, I can't do that. Like your head's automatically just shut it off.
It does, yeah.
And it's just like, no, I can't do it. So
Yeah.
it's like your brain just...
It's not open to the possibility of actually having a different outcome than no. Absolutely.
But it's like, you said it yourself already, it's like, all I got to do is do things.
Yeah.
And then that will slowly, over time, correct it.
Yeah.
Because that's one of the most frustrating things. We want it to happen immediately. And it just
That
doesn't
instant
happen.
gratification. We love
It's
it, don't
bad.
we?
It's
yeah,
bad.
it is bad.
But
is
it comes
bad.
in like all forms. And it's like, it's just how do we deal with it when it's really, like, probably one of the most significant things in society at the moment. Like, you post a photo, you post a song, like, you're going to hear feedback from that thing immediately. And if it's not in the direction you want, it's like, what do you then do?
It breaks people down. And I'm open. I did that, and I still do that. That's like Instagram, social media. That's what it is. I mean, it's great. It's great for free promotion, and I've got a lot of gigs from posting my singing on there. But I would be lying if I said that part of it isn't. I want that feedback, because I used to feed off it a lot more than I do now, and I'm so aware of it now. I'm like, oh, I should post a photo. I'm like, but why?
Interesting.
I'd be like, oh, I'll just show my close people. I just need them to think that my outfit looked fly, and then I don't need to. I don't feel the need to as much as I used to, which I'm really happy about, because it used to be like an everyday, really unhealthy habit, especially throughout high school. It was bad. So.
And what do you think made you, like, caused you to start feeling like that?
Feeling like I needed that.
Yeah.
Just insecure. I don't think there was anything more to it than that. I was just, I was younger, but I was like 12, 13, and it's when you start to develop and things change, and you meet new people through high school, and then throughout that time, then you're thrown into social media, and you're given all these different photos and stimulus of what you think you might want to be or should be. I was aware of it too, though. It wasn't like I was just like, oh, yeah, she's pretty or this or that. Or I was like, this is unhealthy, but also she's pretty, and I wanted to be like that. And I just think it's a natural thing that you go through. I don't think, and it sucks, but I don't think there's, unless you don't have a phone and you're raised to not be in an environment like that, I just think it's a natural.
Yeah, it's really hard to not be connected to it.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting. You just said something so interesting there, but you said you acknowledge that person was so unhealthy, but it's so pretty. But it's like, is what makes you want to follow that path almost the notoriety that they get from posting that?
Yeah, maybe.
Because I only just thought about that just then. I was like, that was a really interesting way to look at it. It's like, you acknowledge that what they're doing is not good, but it's almost because it gets so much. It's like, that's perceived like the cool thing to do. So it's like, if you want to experience the same amount of likes and the same amount of followers, you almost think that that's what you have to do.
Yeah, well, I guess that's it. Yeah, if you look at that and see that that's how some people get likes and all that, then and that's the only example you have, then I'm not surprised why people follow that path. And I did as well, and my friends did, and they used to before parties, or when you'd get dressed up and all that, it'd all be about taking photos, and then it got to a point where people would just want to catch up to take photos.
That's fucked.
And then bring different outfits so it looked like a photo was taken different day just so they could post it just to get that instant gratification. And I used to fall into that as well, and I look now and it's just sad. It's just sad, and I wasted a lot of time doing that and being amongst that. So I'm grateful that I developed new friendships and grateful for my mum, really, who was just like, Libby, that's stupid. What are you doing? And just cut me straight out of that. And my sister as well, they were always like, why are you posting this? They weren't like, oh, you know, they weren't supporting it. They're like, why?
Yeah, they weren't encouraging it.
And I used to get defensive and I'd be like, oh, because, you know, it's nice. It's nice to look now and be like, I don't need that.
So was it your mum and your sister that really spun that around for you? Was that the first time when you realised that you were like, why am I actually doing this?
Yeah, and I think yeah, it was. Absolutely. But I also think my dad as well, he was like, you don't need to post all that. He's like, you're okay just as you are. You don't need to post all that. And they always were just like, you've got us. And I'd be like, yeah, cool, but what about everyone else out there? And mum said to me, she'd always say, would you say hello to those people if you pass them in the street? Or would you feel comfortable with having them over for dinner? Or, you know, things like that. It made me really question, well, we're friends online, but I didn't care who it was. It was just like, you're a number and that number's going up. And that made me feel good for, you know, a bit until it didn't. And you have to, it was an addiction.
Like,
so, you know.
And like, Libby, you couldn't have called it anything better because it's like, it really, like, it is. Because it's like, there's something like underlying there to make a whole bunch of people want to come together collectively, bring them like different outfits and just almost have their own little photo shoot. Yeah,
and I get that. Like, I love creativity. I like photography, but this was it was unhealthy. Or if it's a photo for a purpose, like for an audition or
like a cover art.
Yeah, or for something like that, I understand it. But it's the whole like selfie thing that, I mean, I do it too, but I can't judge. But at that time, it was really destructive. So, yeah.
But then, like, you were using that, like, because that's one of the things. Like, we have to acknowledge that social media is just here now. So it's like it's a tool. It can either be used negatively or it can be used positively. And like from everything you were saying, like once upon a time, you were almost just doing it to feed that little bit of attention.
Yeah, I absolutely was. Yeah.
Whereas now you've actually got like a business. Like there's a reason to be promoting this stuff.
Yeah. Well, every time somebody says, "Oh, where do you?" And I say I'm a musician. They're like, "Oh, where can we hear some of your stuff?" I'm like, Instagram. It's just so easy to put it up, and I actually enjoy when I do share something now. I'm like, oh, I actually enjoy it, and I've found more people who I actually know locally support me more rather than just random people who are just trying to get likes themselves or whatever it is. It's more genuine now. So
I get it. It's literally, it's not the people that are just liking your photo in the hope that you see it and you return the favour in liking theirs, but rather people that actually want to see you grow and they're liking it for that reason. Yeah, yeah. Which, like, that's a credit to you because it would be a really reassuring feeling, like, noticing that change. Yeah, well, it was more a change in myself. And then obviously that led to having more honest connections with people. But, yeah, it was quite, like, isolating and lonely because I think people had this perception of me that I had so many followers and so many likes on my posts that I would be surrounded by that amount of followers and have that many people who were supporting me. And I overlooked the actual people who were because I was just so much about numbers and making them more. But now I have a better appreciation for the people that actually do support me and who do come to the gigs and who bless you. Thank you. Who actually do show up rather than just send a comment or something like that, which is still nice. I still appreciate it, but I've focused back on what's actually important. It's true. Yeah. But then it's, as a musician, that's how you get supported. Like, you know, there's no money in like people liking and commenting on your photos, but there's money in like people rocking up and supporting you performing a gig.
And it's hard to get people, I think, other than your family and a few close friends, if you're lucky enough to have that, to come to gigs. Because I think the scene locally, I mean, there's heaps of great musicians, but I just don't think people are as open to catching up and going to a live gig. They'd rather catch up and drink or catch up and go to a movie or whatever. It's just, I mean, there's some gigs where there's heaps of people and there's the support, and I think, yeah, this is awesome, but I don't see it as much as I think that it should be.
I get you completely. And this hasn't come out yet, but it obviously would have aired by the time yours does. But Josh, like, dkOG, spoke on that really well. Like, he's one of the most intelligent people I know. And I'd like, fuck, I probably never told him that, but it's like, you got your credit now.
There you go.
But he put it on, we really need to be supporting creatives like yourself, like we would get behind like a football team. Think about it, a football team, you pay like a yearly rego. Every year you'll buy the new jersey.
Yeah.
But it's like you can't fork out $10 to go see like the local artist that you really enjoy.
Yeah.
It's like you spend so much money here, but then we don't spend any money to the people that really, really need it. And then the day, like a football club, like doesn't give a fuck. You're just one less of a member.
Yeah.
And they have like
It's a statistic.
Yeah, they get so many other like like forms of income. Whereas for you, it's like it's literally gigs. You don't sell CDs anymore, so it's like you really need people to be supporting you this way.
Yeah.
And I gave the 30-second version of that, but he really broke that down. And it's nuts. It's like we really need to get behind like our creatives. If we want them to succeed and go on and do cool stuff, it's like we need to support them at the entry level.
Absolutely. I'm not sure why it's, I don't know. I don't know yet, but it's something I do want to tap into, because obviously it's going to affect me directly when I have my own music out there, and I will be gigging it. So I want, I need to spend some time trying to figure out what it is about that.
The whole marketing side of things?
Yeah.
Like,
well, that's the thing. You're not just an artist anymore. You're the promo, marketing. It's business.
And not only that, like, I can only comment it from my perspective, because like music could be completely different, but I know exactly what you mean, because we almost got overwhelmed in just the doing of the podcast. Like, we were so focused on the content that we let that side of things slip. Like the whole marketing, the business.
Well,
like,
it's easy to. Yeah.
Well, like, it becomes down to information.
Yeah.
Like, we just thought, start it and everything will sort of fall. Like,
upload it, done.
And then you don't realise that there's so much more that goes into it. And the unfortunateness of it is, in what you're doing, it's sort of like work. Like, the work you're doing becomes autonomous. Like, you just know how to do it. But then when it goes to the whole promoting, the business side of things, it's a whole new world. And it's almost not overwhelming, but it's enough to stop you from doing it because you just don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And it looks like another really long process.
Yeah.
But it's just as important, if not more important, especially in the world we live in today, how everything's oversaturated. It's like if there isn't a proper plan on release, it's like
dribs and drabs here and there. And people lose focus of that. It's like they're stimulated for the 5 seconds and ads on Instagram or whatever it is. And unless it really grabs them, they're like, onto the next thing straight away. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to navigate and figure out how to create something that people are like, hey, I actually want to read what this person has to say. I think being honest is part of it, and usually if you're a bit funny with things, it's people are like, oh, they're relatable. So
it makes you human. Like, there's so much of that we look at on social media, and we look at it and we're like, a fucking bot wrote that.
Yeah,
like, you know,
or it's scripted, and it's really. I don't know. I've tried that as well with things that I've posted. I used to be like, oh, I've got to make this sound really fancy, but now I'm just like, here's a song I wrote. That's it. It's just I let the music speak for itself. So yeah.
And then like, it's just that's becomes the more fortunate thing of when you have that sort of audience already. But it's like, imagine trying to start that from like scratch.
Yeah.
Like, there are so many talented people that just fall under the radar now because it's almost like fast food. It's like there's so many options out there. It's like if yours doesn't get picked up on the first round, it disappears.
Yeah,
which is unfortunate because you have so many people putting in a lot of time and effort into these projects and they just almost get swept under the rug.
Yeah.
Not on purpose, but just because the opportunity's just missed. And it's a really, really hard thing to navigate. But luckily for you, you've got all the right people around you that will help you with that rollout.
I am really fortunate to have that. But it is not a scary concept, but it's interesting that, like, your exposure is left up to strangers. It's like, here's something I have, nurtured for so long, habit. Like, it's...
But you feel weird about handballing it because you're like...
Yeah.
You want that person to put in the same amount of like love that you would give it, because it's like you poured your heart and soul into it. It's like you almost want them to do that as well for the promotional side.
Yeah.
And you just like, and you lose all control of that.
I think you have to take a step back. I think you have that time with it. And like, for instance, me with my songs, I've had the time with it and I still will while it's being completed. And then I'm aware that once it's finished and I release it, then it's not up to me to, question what everybody thinks about it. I'll only care if the people who are around me, who I respect the opinion of, like it or don't like it. And as long as they're honest with me, then, I mean, obviously I'd love everyone to like it and it to be successful, but
we can't please everybody.
No, and nor do I want to anymore. Nor do I want to. Yeah.
True. There's something very important like the anymore. I'm going to get back to that, but you said something else. It's like, I only want the opinions of people that I value.
Yeah.
That comes back to the danger of just putting everything out there and letting people comment on it, because it's like, you begin to listen to that, but then at the end of the day, it's like, these are all people that you wouldn't call up and ask for advice from. So it's like, why are you listening to the advice that they're giving just through commenting on your photo? And it's like, at the end of the day, majority of them are all just trolls, like, waiting to get your attention anyway. So it's like, they'll just say dumb shit.
Yeah.
And the minute you respond, they're like, oh, no, but your stuff's really good.
Yeah.
But it's like...
Come like my video. Oh, but you're cool, though. Yeah. Yeah, it's always just the one tagline. Oh, you're really awesome. And then they just have their script. And, like, it used to bother me, and now it's kind of funny. And, it's just... I look at that, and I'm like... Oh, I used to be like that. And people probably responded to me the way that I respond to that now. It's like, oh, what are you doing?
Yeah. Right. But then, as you said, it's something that we have to learn. But then, that's where you were really fortunate. You got lucky that the people around you were like, why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? I think there are so many people that continue to do what you used to do that just didn't have those people around.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you don't have those people to pull you in to check, it's like you're just going to keep polluting. Then it just becomes normal, and then you're stuck. Yeah. Which is the weirdest thing that I've like noticed from that. And it's just like, how do you tell those individuals who are stuck in that what they're doing is wrong?
Well, the only example I can give is my mum with me, and she went through my Instagram with me. I go to her bedroom and we have discussions either in the kitchen or it's in her bedroom, and they're always like when something's gone wrong or I'm upset, and the hour-long ones you have with someone you really trust. And she was going through my Instagram when it was of like photos I had when I was younger, like 14, 16. And she stopped on a few and she'd be like, "You don't look happy."
Interesting.
And I was like, "I am happy." I was like, "I'm happy. Like this is it. Look at all these likes I've got." And that's when she was like, would you say hello to them? And she just made me question it. And at the time, not open to it. No, stormed out, not cool. But then I was like, hang on, what she's saying, I knew it was right, but I was, teenager, I know what I'm doing. Like, so against it. And now I say to her now, like, I'm like, you were right. She's like, I know. But it's just the process. Like, even like I said before with social media, it's just something you have to go through. I don't think there's any way around it. It sucks, and a lot of people get sucked into the instant gratification thing. But look, there probably is or are ways to combat that by not having it. But let's face it, kids are going to have it. So I just think it's a thing you go through, and unless you're as fortunate as I am to have somebody to say, hey, like, I think my mum dealt with it in a good way because she wasn't attacking. She was just questioning. She's like, I just want you to be happy, and I don't think you are.
Yeah, she made you think.
And I wasn't happy by posting all of that. and she called me like right out on it, and I was like, no. I was like, she'd given me the answer, and I was like, no, that's not it. That couldn't be it. And it took me a very long time to be like, to accept that, to accept for myself and acknowledge that, yeah, that is it. I spent way too long and made friendships with people and had relationships with different people that just were based from that.
It's almost
that
like
time. Yeah.
take. Because it's like the only reason they're there is for you to reciprocate what they're doing to you back to them.
Yeah, exactly. It was just like filling each other up, but you weren't, because it's not healthy.
No,
It's not.
And it wasn't. And then for like your mum to be able to realise that and bring that to your attention, that's a credit to her as well.
Yeah.
Because everybody else just bangs. It's like, don't use social media, it's bad. It's like, yeah, but it's here now.
Yeah.
So it's almost like we need more education like that, showing people how to really use it.
Yeah.
And more or less just think about what they're doing. Because then it's like, it almost becomes another form of fast food. It's like, fuck it, I'm going to put up this. Hopefully it gets like, like the fix that I'm looking for.
It is. It's a hit. It's just like, oh, this feels good. And then, go along and it doesn't until you do it again or have that. So, yeah. And I think another moment for me was, I can always acknowledge something within someone else. Like I have a really good friend, and she was just stuck in this cycle of posting, and she's like, I don't feel good afterwards. I'm like, then why are you doing it? And then I was like, well, why am I doing it? Like, I could question it for her and see the negative effects for her, but obviously with yourself, you're so far in it. Like, it couldn't be that.
Yeah, you're like, that's not how it affects
nah, that's
me.
not it. Yeah, and somebody's given you the answer, and you're like, no, that's not it. For them, frustrating. Like, my mum, I know it was super frustrating. Like, I could tell at the time, and I just got frustrated because I was like, nah, I know. I didn't. I don't.
It's almost like resistance.
Yeah.
You just like, you swear it's like she knows she's right. Like, she's right. But there's this party that's like, nah, but I'm still right.
Yeah. Yeah. I've only just started to. There's still parts of me that are super stubborn, but in regards to social media, I don't really. I like it for the promotional side of things, but for like funny cat videos and dog videos, love those.
With little distractions.
Yeah,
it's like they'll never fully be gone. It's like, I always need my little distraction.
Yeah, it's sometimes it's nice just to have a little unwind with that, but with me and being aware of why I post things, it's a lot healthier now. Yeah,
and probably put you on a better path too. Like, made you like just more professional.
Yeah, well, I respect myself more now, so I'm not in a constant state of needing it.
Interesting, because I guess that's why people really do it, isn't it? Like, if you respect yourself enough, you don't have to put yourself on Instagram to get a certain number of likes to make you feel good.
Well, I think so. Maybe respect isn't the right word, because I think people can still post things and respect themselves. But for me personally, it was a matter of respect and respect for my health, and just being aware that it wasn't working. So,
but then it's almost like you're no longer insecure about it. Not so much you did it to respect yourself, but the fact that you found respect for yourself means you got secure.
Yes, yeah.
So it's like you're no longer trying to seek validation from those people.
Yeah.
Rather, you found it from within, and that's what allows you to move forward and keep making the right decision.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I have my moments, we all do, but it's a lot better than where it was, and it's allowed me to communicate better with people and explain what I want out of situations, and I wouldn't have been able to do that without the people around me, which I'm very aware that they've helped me, and really grateful to have that, even though it's been probably really frustrating for them at times because I can be stubborn with things, but I'm trying.
Libby, that's all we can do. All we can do is our best, and all we can do is keep trying.
Yeah.
But I want to take us back to something you said, which I found very interesting, in how you no longer try to please everyone.
Yeah, it's exhausting.
So tell me more about that. Was there a period in your life where you felt like you had to please everyone?
Yeah. I think it was in VCE. I never used to try at school at all. I think up until year 10, I was just kind of, I was lucky I had really good teachers in primary school, and they kind of set me up for my English. I mean, I've always been terrible at maths, but my English has always been pretty good. So I've just kind of bludged my way through high school, just passing everything. And then it got to a point where I was like, I want to be better. I don't want to just always be the kid that's like, oh, can I have your notes? Because I felt shit about myself because
Sure.
I didn't have direction. I didn't have anything going. I had like a part-time job. I was like, oh, at least I've got that. But at school, nothing. And it just got to a point I was like, you know what, I should just try. So I knuckled down, and I just spent all my time studying. And then I started. It's like an instant gratification thing, but in another form. It wasn't on social media. I then became the smart kid at school, and people would come to me for help, or they'd be like, oh, Libby will know, or I'd always answer the questions in class. And once again, I took a comfort in that. I was like, okay, that's my place. I'm the smart kid. I'm the one that they'll go to if they need help. And I like helping people. I do. It's part of my personality, but it was once again to an unhealthy level where I'd give them so much of my time I wouldn't have it for myself. But I just used to sit in the library and just study, like, so dorky. I liked the idea of being invited to parties and going to parties, but I never really did. I was just so happy to be in the library talking to the library staff and reading and studying. Because I felt comfortable in doing that, and my results went up, and I felt that I had created, that I'd bettered myself. So
you became a better version of you.
Yeah. So but with that, I did feel a level of pressure, not from my parents. They were always just like, just pass and be happy and social. Just pass. I've never had pressure from them, which. I'm really lucky because some people do. It was all self-pressure. And then, I worked myself to a position, and then I felt like I had to maintain it. So I think in high school was when, like, that all started again.
Well, it stops you from pleasing people. Because the only way I can even relate back to that is, like, when I think about my experience in high school in year 10, like, it was just a brat.
Yeah,
So it was like, I would have much preferred to be the one sitting in the library, like, actually doing my shit, than almost behaving in a way that I thought people would accept me more. So, like, instead of just like not going to the last period, just so it's a Friday night, just so you can go out and start your weekend.
Start getting ready.
Yeah, like before it even started.
Get some prees.
Yeah, but it's like, for what? It's like, who am I trying to impress? Who am I doing this for?
Yeah.
Because I wasn't really doing it for myself. Because, like, one, I didn't have the money to do any of that stuff. So I'm just like, here I am trying to live this fake life, and I'm just like scrounging together $10 to go buy a goon sack that you hope will last you for that time period.
Did you have fun? You did.
You know what's really funny? Not really.
Not really.
No, because we were just little fuckwits. So there was always a real harsh consequence to the things that we did.
Yeah.
And it was like, it felt fun at the time.
Yeah.
It felt like we were doing the right thing. And then all of a sudden, like, year 10, those 2 years pass, you're in year 12, it's a week before your exams, and you're like, all I fucking done was
nothing.
you're like, all I've done was got drunk every single weekend, and now it's like the most important part of my life, arguably. I just like pissed it away.
So do you look back now and think I should have studied?
No.
No.
That was just...
Well, that's good to know, because I look back and I think I shouldn't have studied as much as I did. I should have been... Well, I feel like I would have had... I just would have had more fun if I had done what you did, so...
But then, like, that's the funny part of it, because it was like, it's perceived that I was having more fun, but in reality, I think I stressed and worried more.
Yeah.
Because instead of just doing what I should have done, Thought of a million.
You're out partying.
Yeah, well, just not even like that. Just thought of a million other reasons to not do that. And so, which like the closer and closer it gets to the end date, I'm just like, fuck, it's too late to start now.
Yeah.
But which was just like the foolishness of me. So then it was good because then by the time uni came around, like complete 360.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, like I now know what works. And that lifestyle,
It wasn't working?
It just got
served
me
its
through
purpose.
school.
You had fun, to a degree.
To a degree.
To a degree.
I learnt a lot.
Mm.
Like when I think about those stages of my life, like it was like okay in terms of fun, but I definitely learnt a lot. And then that's what shaped a massive part of like who I am, I guess. Like you learnt what you could and couldn't do. And
Study for exams.
Yeah, and I was just like,
Oh, who cares though? Like I studied so hard for exams, got into the unis, haven't gone. Like it's just and it's in the ATAR and all of that yeah. Well, it only lasts for a year, I think, or it's only valid for a year. So I look back now and I'm like, all of that time I could have been doing anything else other than what I was doing. So yeah, when people are like, oh, in high school, like I drunk and I was like, yeah, I should have done that too, and I had the opportunity to. I was like, nah, in the library.
I guess there's pros and cons of everything. Like the positives were at least I rocked up to uni, and it wasn't the first time that I got all my freedom, so I just behaved like a fuckwit.
Yeah,
like
you got it out of your system.
Yeah, you got it out of your system. But then at the same time too, like if you're one of those people that wants to continue educating themselves, like go do it, because it's like they're people that the world really needs as well. So it was great that you studied because at least you didn't have to like wonder, because you had the option. You were like, okay, if this music stuff doesn't work, I know for you that you're highly educated, so I can go this other route. Yeah. Imagine the people that just have nothing, like piss away the school, piss away life.
I don't need to imagine. I know people like that.
But then like reality kicks in, you're like, I'm low-key a deadbeat and I don't do shit. It's like, what do I do? Yeah. And they're the only people that I'm like, find your lane, find what you want to do, and just good luck with it. Yeah. So I was like, like going back, I'm like, wouldn't really change anything because it got me to where I am. Yeah. And if I did change some things, it probably would have influenced me in another direction. Yeah, well, you might not have started your podcast or anything like that. So probably not. To be honest, if I was being honest, I probably would have been a tradie and I fucking wouldn't be living in Geelong. Like, that's why I don't even like to think about it, because it's just, I know that's definitely not where I'd be right now. And probably not what you'd want to do either, I assume. No. Oh, like, especially living in Ballarat, like, I feel for all my mates are pretty much tradies from back home. Shout out to the mates in Ballarat. That are tradies. But they rough it. Imagine starting work at 6 a.m. and it's negative. I do, yeah. No, but like it's negative degrees. Yeah, true. And 10 o'clock comes and it's just hit zero. Like you've worked for 4 hours in negative degrees. Like, fuck that. Hard work. Hard work. But then like someone's got to do it. Yeah. And better them than me. So it's like, thank you. But then at the same time, now they're all doing really well in their lives because they finished their apprenticeships and stuff. So they're all buying multiple houses. They've all got big cars, blah, 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 blah. And I look at that and I'm like, sick, because you've actually put in the work and you've earned that. So that's where I'm like, hopefully if I do the same shit on what I'm doing, I'll experience those same outcomes. Yeah. Well, I think it's always good to have something to work towards. So if you've got your end goal or a goal, that helps me as well, like knowing my why. Like I said before, if I'm just doing something, I'm like, oh, I don't want to do this or I don't want to practice or something's bothering me. I'm like, no, I'm doing this so I can have this. And I'm sure they and yourself feel the same way. It's like, no, I'm doing this now so I can have that. So it's annoying though. Sometimes it's just like, oh, I'd rather sleep. Literally, but then it's just like, you know that vision won't come true if all you did was sleep. Well, I know it won't, because I've wasted a lot of time and spent a lot of time just being like, yeah, I'll do that. Nothing. And I'm over putting myself through that. I'm over putting the people who are supporting me through that. So yeah, I can safely say I'm finally at a stage where I'm like, no, this is what I want to do, and I know that these are the steps I have to practice to get to the end.
Yeah.
which just comes credit to yourself as well, because no one could have shown you that. You had to figure that all out on your own.
Well,
You had the influence of people guiding you to make sure you're on the right path, but to figure out what you really want to do, like, no one can tell you that. Like, you have to literally go try a whole bunch of different shit, and you're like, oh,
see what works.
could go all those routes, but it's like, I really had the most fun doing that. And it's like, if you're fortunate enough to find what you have the most fun doing, and you can manage to make that work, that you get paid from it, it's like sick, because now you live in the dream, I think anyway.
Yeah, the last thing I want to be is stuck in a job that I don't enjoy for the rest of my life. But I'm also realistic, and I know that I have to work to be able to fund the dream.
Literally.
Yeah.
And it's like, I know, I know the environments you're in, they're not cheap. And it's like, if you want to make it as a musician, like, a massive part of it that I see is you have to invest in yourself, because no one's going to do it for you.
Yeah.
It's like an audio engineer is not going to be like, yeah, tell you what, you're all right. I'm going to come do all your stuff for free. It's like,
come on, Jaron. Do all my stuff for free.
Okay. Yeah, Jaren's like, for the first 30 minutes, and then it's like everything after that, I'm charging you by the hour. No, but then it lets people know you're more serious too, and I think that's what opens up all these other doors.
Yeah.
So it's exciting.
I am excited, yeah.
And then so I guess, like, what's next for Libby? Because I know you got this vision. What do you see?
Well, as much as you said, like, people don't buy CDs, and I know people don't, I would like a tangible copy. And I know my grandma would love one to pass around to all her friends as well. So I see it, the songs being completed. So the main thing to do is vocals, which is me. So the steps to doing that would to obviously practice, but then I want to spend the time figuring out how I want to communicate the emotions again and tap back into them, because it has been quite some time since I first wrote the songs, and I can hear when I sing them and I'm thinking about them. I just want to sing them and be like, here's the story, and it come across more like that. So yeah, I want to get the vocals done, and then I think we're going to change a few things with the instruments. Then Jaron will do his thing.
The Jaren effect.
Yeah.
We've got to stop talking about it, because we're just feeding the ego. And I know he's sitting there, he's like,
his wizardry.
I am good.
Oh, well, credit
A little evil laugh.
credit where credit's due, but also, yeah, I don't want to boost the ego too much higher.
Nah, we love you, Jaren. Shit. None of this would be where it was without his guidance.
Is it time for a shout out?
No. Oh, Jaren. I'm like, already cemented all that in stone. Already cemented all of it in stone.
Yeah.
But damn, I guess we're at that time of the show. And I'm curious to see what you have to say, because you're intelligent as fuck.
Oh.
But Libby,
Yes.
what's one thing that you wish you were told as a youth?
I've got to think about this for a bit, because I'm known for saying really cheesy Hallmark lines, and I want to make this one really genuine and not Hallmark. So,
Good luck.
Could you ask me it again, please?
What's one thing that you wish you were told as a youth?
What is one thing I wish I was told as a youth? Probably that I don't owe it to anyone else to do something. Mainly just, if you want to do it for yourself, but don't feel the pressure to do it for anyone else. I think that would be it. Just do it for yourself if you want to do something, and if someone else likes it, then that's good. If not, you can't control it.
And at the end of the day, why would you want to do stuff for other people? Like, wouldn't you want to be doing like what you want to do?
Well, I think now I understand and have a better appreciation for what it means to do something for yourself, and to be kind to yourself in that way. But I think I learnt how to do that for someone else, and I was shown that by seeing other people and I think it's only, recently I'm like, oh, I treat people with this amount of kindness, I can do the same for myself, and that's okay. And that's not selfish. Yeah.
It's not at all. And if anything, like, it's super important because it gives you better clarification on what you're actually doing. Because it's like, once upon a time, I found myself doing things because other people told me to do them. And when I reflected back on myself, I was like, what the fuck? Like, why am I even doing this?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't serve me. It doesn't serve anyone else. It's like, what am I doing?
Yeah. I'm the same. There were so many things I did. I was like, yeah, but I didn't want to do that. Well, I didn't enjoy doing that. But I just did it because I thought that was the right thing to do. So, yeah. It's okay. It's okay to... I think another thing I wish I had have done was break the rules a bit more. I was such a goody two-shoes and I still am.
That's dangerous as.
I was the teacher's pet and I loved it. I was like, oh. Like to the point where the teacher would be like, no, you know, like Libby will do this, or I always like to be the one that the teacher liked. And consequently, then my peers were like, oh, you know, teacher's pet.
True. You know what's so funny about that? Being a teacher's pet in uni is probably the best thing you could do.
I wouldn't know. I haven't gone, but I trust.
If a lecturer knows who you are, come assignment time, like I always made my effort to make sure I always said what's up to my teachers and stuff. And it was hard because I couldn't behave like the teacher's pet because I was late. Like, all of my behaviour didn't allow that to align. But just because I had the relationship with the teacher, like, they carried me at times where, like, if the teacher didn't care about me at all. It's like, here's a little extension. It's like, oh, you really got 44%, so here's the extra 6 just to get... Like,
oh, really?
Yeah. There was a few bailouts. It was just like, yeah, my spelling and stuff was terrible. And for what I did at uni, got marked, like, real harshly on that. So there were a few times where it was like, just because I knew the person, like, they carried me over the edge.
Good, you need those people.
You do. But I do see what you mean. Not so much... like break the rules, but just take risks.
Yeah, healthy risks, you know. But yeah, I still am. Like, there's this part of me that was like, oh, but that's naughty. But you know, like when I actually do it, I'm like, I feel rebellious, and it's not. It'd be, you know, something simple. I don't have an example, but it just, I wish I had have been more like skipping class, or, you know, going out the night before. Like, girls used to go out the night before exams or not show up to exams. And I'm not promoting that. Like, that's not what I'm promoting. But I wish for myself I had have taken even a bit of that and be like, just had more fun. I was just so serious and so stressed out all the time. I just look back now, I'm like, I should have just had more fun and done things I wanted to really do.
Libby, lucky you've got the rest of your life for that.
This is true.
It's just like...
I'm very young, so I've got the time. Just need to use it wisely.
You do. Just make sure you don't do dumb shit.
Oh, I can't guarantee that.
No, with all the people around you, I think you'll do most of the right things, but not like... I guess I was talking from my perspective, and I know you won't do half of that shit. So it's just like, you will be fine. Yeah. You will be fine. But Libby, tell the people where they can find you.
Do I talk to this? Oh, is that off? Oh, no.
No,
it's turned around. Okay, you can find me on Instagram mainly, just Libby.Leissner, Leissner. Facebook, I'm not great at using it, but I'm there. What else do people have these days? Twitter? I have an old account. I don't know the password for it, so there's stuff on there you can cringe at from when I was 12, mainly Taylor Swift quotes. They're there.
How will people find out about your upcoming gigs and stuff?
I mainly promote those on Instagram or Facebook, so you know, you can follow me there if you feel like it.
Do it while she's cheap, because there's going to be a day where she'll be charging people $150 for a ticket, and it's like, fuck. I'm thankful I paid $10. It's just like,
for the local gig.
Literally.
Yeah.
Nah, but shit. Libby, is there anything else you want to tell the people?
Don't really. I wish I had a line. Like Alan says, be kind to one another, but...
Who's Alan?
Alan DeGeneres.
Oh, true?
Yeah, true.
What does she say?
She says, be kind to one another.
True.
Yeah. That's at the end of every episode.
Fair. I think I've sort of got my own for that, which is sort of the same thing, but just not as direct.
What is it?
I'll show you at the end.
Oh.
But I guess we're there anyway as well. So it's like, Libby, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me. It's been
And thank
fun.
you for sharing your story with the world. Like,
Yeah, well,
the
there
dangers of
it
social
is.
media. Like, watch out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Watch out. And use the tool productively. Like, it's there. So take advantage
Yeah,
of
use it for you. Don't make it use you. Yeah.
Literally. Couldn't have said it any better myself.
Yeah.
But Libby, thank you once again.
No. it's
But I
been
guess
great.
that's it. That's another week of Different Kind of Genius done. Griffin Burger should be eating their food. If you're not, it's your fault because you're missing out. But yeah, I guess that's it. Stay safe. Peace out. One love. Alan's got nothing on me. Liam, wrap that shit up. Jared, what are you trying to say? Are you passionate?